Yesterday, I stood in a supermarket staring at a cucumber that cost almost 4 euros, and somehow that wasn't the worst part of my day. I live in Finland, the country ranked the happiest in the world for years. It's safe, it's clean, and everything works, but some days it doesn't feel happy at all. And that confused me for a long time because when you live in the world's happiest country, you feel like that you are not supposed to struggle. So, in this video, I want to talk about the parts of living in Finland that nobody really explains. The quiet things that can make you feel isolated, tired, or just off. It's not because Finland is bad, but adapting to a place like this changes you in ways that you don't even expect. Hello, I'm Tasina, and welcome to my channel Fullstack Nomads. Let's address the elephant in the room, or rather, the polar bear, the winter. People talk about the cold, but the cold isn't the problem. You can buy a jacket. The real problem is the darkness. In November and December, the sun is basically a guest star that makes a cameo for 3 hours and then leaves. It messes with your brain. You wake up dark, you leave work dark, you start questioning if the sun actually exists or if it was just a collective hallucination. It messes with your circadian rhythm. You feel tired all the time, and in a similar city like this, when it gets dark, the town just shuts down. It feels like the world has gone to sleep and you are the only one awake. There is a specific heaviness to the Finnish winter. It's not just weather, it's a lifestyle. You retreat inward, and when the snow turns to slush, what the Finns call loska, it's just wet, grey, and miserable for weeks. It's hard to keep your energy up when the world looks like a black and white movie for 5 months straight. Okay, let's talk about money. Finland has high salaries, that's true. But have you ever looked at a grocery receipt and felt confused? Like, how did this become 40 euros? When I first arrived in Finland, I remember standing in a supermarket holding one cucumber and doing mental math like I was buying crypto. And the weird part is, it's not random. There are real reasons why groceries feel expensive here. First, there are basically two giants running most grocery stores, S Group and K Group. When most of the market is controlled by two players, prices don't really fight each other. Second, geography. Finland sits far north, things travel far, and if they don't travel, they have to survive winter. That cucumber in January isn't just a cucumber, it's transport, it's heating, it's greenhouse fighting minus 20. You are not paying for vegetables, you are paying for winter. And then there's tax. Food is taxed lower, but everything around it isn't. Toilet paper, soap, toothpaste, suddenly your grocery trip feels like expensive in a way that it's hard to explain. It's not one big thing, it's everything combined. But here's the part that changed how I see it. When I buy food here, I know what I am getting. Strict safety standards, extremely low antibiotic use, water clean enough that nobody even questions it. So, yes, it hurts my wallet, but it also feels reliable. And then there's getting around. Public transport here is clean and reliable, I'll give them that. But the dynamic pricing, if you want to take a train to Lapland or even just a few hours away to Helsinki to visit a friend and you don't book it 3 weeks in advance, you are paying airline prices for a train seat. It makes you feel stuck. You want to escape the city for a weekend, but your bank account says no, stay at home. Here, you can't even make any sudden plans if you don't own a car. It can get too expensive, but it is not always possible to do that. What if I feel like going somewhere far today? Again, buying a car also comes with its own problems. This one is tricky because I actually love how polite Finns are, but there's a difference between feeling peaceful and feeling lonely. Finnish culture is built on respecting personal space. That's wonderful. It's freeing when you want to be left alone. But when you want a connection, it can feel like hitting a wall. Small talk barely exists here. You don't chat with the cashier. You don't talk to neighbors in the elevator. If you look sad in public, nobody will ask if you are okay. Not because they don't care, but because they don't want to disturb you. I remember my first bus ride here. Everyone sat at the furthest seat from each other, eyes down, headphones on. It was quiet, too quiet. I felt isolated even though I was surrounded by people. And that silence, in the middle of the winter, it gets cold and loud. If you are an expat or immigrant, it's even harder. Breaking into Finnish friend group feels almost impossible at first. You can be surrounded by people and still feel completely alone. But here's the thing, and this surprised me. Coming from a country where people are constantly interested in everyone else's business, where judgment travels faster than help, this silence is actually a breath of fresh air. Here, people mind their own business, they respect boundaries, they don't gossip, they don't judge. And for someone like me who's always been tired of that noise, it's freeing, it's peaceful, and that in its own quiet way feels like a gift. But it is true that I feel lonely sometimes too. Yet I think it's a good kind of trade off. The freedom, the peace, the lack of judgment, it's worth the quiet moments of loneliness. And then there's the anxiety of just staying here. As an immigrant, there's this constant background noise in my head. Like, is my visa okay? Did I file the right paperwork? Or does the Kela even know that I moved here? Even though the systems here are digital and efficient, they're built for Finns. And when you don't fit the standard box, it's stressful. I feel like a guest in my own home. I follow every rule. I cross the street only on green lights, even at 2 a.m. when there are no cars, because the thought of doing something wrong terrifies me. And lately, the time it takes to renew some residence permits is getting longer and longer. It wasn't like this before. Every year, it feels like the waiting gets worse, and that constant uncertainty just hangs over you. The pressure to be the perfect immigrant, exhausting. And yet, there is a strange comfort in it. The system works, everything is predictable. It's stressful, yes, but it also means that when you do follow the rules, life actually works. It's a weird trade off, anxiety mixed with efficiency, fear mixed with safety, and honestly, that combination has taught me a lot about patience, precision, and what it means to truly belong somewhere, even when it feels like you're still learning the rules. And here's the final kicker, the guilt. When everyone tells you about that you live in the world's happiest country, you feel like you should be happy. And when you aren't, you feel ungrateful. You look at the safety, the clean water, the lack of corruption, and you think, what is wrong with me? Here's the thing, the UN World Happiness Report doesn't actually measure whether people feel joy day to day. It's mostly based on income, life expectancy, social support, freedom to make life choices, generosity, trust in government, and lack of corruption. Basically, it measures stability, security, and social system working, not smiles or laughter. And Finland ticks all those boxes. Low corruption, reliable healthcare, free education for citizens, clean air, strong social safety nets. It's basically perfect on paper. But stability doesn't guarantee happiness. You can live in a place with everything right and still feel lonely, tired, or a little disconnected. So when I scroll through Instagram seeing sunny lakes and smiling people, I feel the guilt. But I also remind myself being sad here doesn't mean I'm ungrateful. It just means I'm human and that's okay. So, why am I sad? Because I miss the sun, because I am lonely sometimes, because I am tired of converting currency in my head. But then I look at the lake, I breathe the cleanest air in the world. I know that if I lose my wallet, someone will probably return it. It's a trade off. It's okay to be sad in the happiest country. It doesn't mean you are ungrateful. It just means you are human adapting to a very different world. If you are an expat here, tell me what's the one thing that drives you crazy about Finland. If you liked my video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And thanks for watching.